has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharp Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharp Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharp Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So happy to be with you this afternoon. And if you want to call, you can. After the first break, 585-346-3000. For some reason, I was thinking a lot about my time as a Marine when I was overseas. Now, many of you who are veterans, if you're a veteran, you know there is a lot of rivalry between the services, right? I'm a Marine, and we would tease guys in the Navy, we would tease guys in the Army, we would tease guys in the Air Force, and back and forth, right? All the time. Back and forth we would, right? We would call the sailors our taxi drivers to get us to war. They would say we eat crayons, whatever, all kind of stuff back and forth. And sometimes it got a little bit heated, but usually not, all in fun. But the difference is, by the time that we were overseas, we didn't care. I didn't care if you were a sailor. I don't care if you were a soldier. You were an American. You were in the military. You and I, we're good. We're buddies, bros. Doesn't matter any stuff we talked about before. We are all bros together. And when I came back years later, during the Afghan-Iraqi wars, I was in the Marine in the 80s and 90s, so I didn't see that combat. I was in during the first Gulf War. But when the second Gulf War happened, when Afghanistan happened, so many guys and gals came back from there, and they were in trouble. And some of you know this. I spent my time, a lot of my spare time, trying to help them transition back. Doing a lot of transition training. Tried with the VA, did not work well. Did some with the Yellow Ribbon Foundation. Did some with John Jay College here in New York City, I should say. Some here in New York City. Did some of that too. I didn't care what service they were in. Most of them had deployed overseas. The ones who were hurting the most, were those who had been deployed overseas. But some were here. Some were in Gitmo. So as guards, obviously. Servicing, not actual inmates, obviously. But those are the kind of people who I was trying to help transition and deal with it. I didn't care. In fact, I went to them. I would go to Army units, reserve units that came back from Afghanistan and try to help if I could. Of course. Why wouldn't I? Afterwards, would they tease me again? Sure. But we were still all together. Why do I bring that up? I bring that up because I look what's happening here in New York State. And how with everything we wind up doing and seeing all the problems that we have, we never come back from those factions. I get you have factions. I do. But at one point, don't you have to say no more factions? Do we have to at one point? I feel like New York has forgotten that. And the example I will give you is, you can see what's happening in our state. I'm going to give some credit where credit is due. Trump came to the Bronx, said, hey, I'm going to come to the Bronx. I'm going to reach out and try to get a lot of Bronx people to vote for me. Okay, he does come. Generally speaking, if you know the Bronx, most of the Bronx is not going to vote for Trump. But there are people in the Bronx who will vote for Trump. They exist, absolutely. There are conservative groups, Republican groups, America First groups in the Bronx who will vote for Trump. That's true. Trump's not going to win the Bronx. That's not going to happen. It's far too democratic for that to happen. But he went. And in response, our governor didn't say, well, I disagree with what he says, or I don't like that he came. That's possible too. You don't like Trump, you don't want him to come. That's fine, I have that opinion. I don't want him here. All fine. These are all, in my view, acceptable answers to that if you don't like him. Okay. That wasn't her answer. Her answer was the people who came were clowns. That was her answer. It wasn't, I don't like Trump. I think he's wrong. Whatever is her view. Obviously, she doesn't like Trump. I get it. I didn't expect her to be like, welcome. I did not expect that. Of course not. But I didn't want her to. Obviously, she did. And it is totally in her nature to do so. But I didn't want her to make that attack. I really didn't. I wanted her to just go, hey, I think he's bad, or whatever, Orange Man bad. Got it. Move on. No. Why? Because so many people in New York who do believe that, who do hate Trump, didn't say that was uncalled for. Many of them said, yeah, they're all clowns. They're bad people. They don't think the way I think. Therefore, they're all bad people. See? All evil bad people. Why does she care about that? Because this is how she can set her agenda. This is how she can set her policies. This idea of not coming back together, not focusing on what's important, but instead focusing on division and pain and back and forth like that, sets her up to do whatever she wants. Her priorities right now in New York State is calling anyone who doesn't believe what she believes a clown, option one, keeping division, because there are smart, savvy people on her side. And if they stop thinking, she's in trouble. She has to keep them pissed off and annoyed, because the people just got called clowns. They're mad. So now they're yelling and screaming, making her people go, no, you are clowns. See, that's a good fight. So she can focus on what is important. Shutting down cannabis shops. I'm not joking. She wants to shut down more cannabis shops. That's her priority. Now, should you enforce rules and regulations? Of course you should. Should that be your priority? You might go, Larry, you don't understand. This is terrible. These cannabis shops, got to do that. We have people on the streets of our cities of this state who are dying of fentanyl overdoses, and you're worried about shutting down cannabis shops. Like 400th on my list of priorities. Number one on hers. You know what number two is? I'm not joking. Number two is swimming and water safety. Again, not joking. She has openly said this, did a press conference, it was yesterday, the day before on it. Yes, swimming and water safety. Teaching Black kids to swim. So Black kids not only don't know what a computer is, they also don't know how to swim. And if you actually thought that Black kids didn't know how to swim and didn't know what a computer was, why would you pick swimming? Even that's broken. Why? It is actually a $150 million giveaway to one of her donors. I'm not joking again. That's her priority. Meanwhile, over the weekend, you might go, wait a minute. That's all that was over the weekend in New York City. A guy set someone else on fire in the subway. You're like, what? No, Larry, you made that up. I've made none of this up. I'm saying it publicly. You can check it yourself. A guy set another guy, random guy, on fire this weekend in the subway system. And Kathy Hochul said, swimming. Shut down cannabis shops. We already have cops there. We already have National Guard there. You might say, wait a minute, Larry, how could they know that some guy's going to set some other guy on fire? I'll tell you how. It's his second time doing it. Yes. Yes. He did it in February. Yep. They have video of him carrying the stuff with the fire in it. Not even joking. You can Google it and find it. He's carrying the soup cans full of the flaming liquid. He's carrying it. Literally in a subway, on a subway platform. Yes. So glad we had the National Guard down there. One more time. This is his second time doing it. If it was never done before, maybe, okay, first time ever, couldn't figure it out, so tough, whatever. Second time, this year, he did it like 3 months ago. So you might say to yourself, wait a minute, Larry. Okay, hold on. This can't be true. Some guy shows up, sets somebody else on fire. That guy's going to be in jail forever, right? This is New York City. You get like, I don't know, a couple hours, cool down, you're back out again. That's how that works. So what is our priority? What is our priority? Shutting down cannabis shops, calling other New Yorkers clowns who don't believe what I believe. By the way, as governor of New York State, who supposedly governs everybody, right? Calling her own constituents clowns, and teaching Black kids how to swim. When you said you don't think they know what a computer is. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, it's not true. I was a Black kid from the Bronx. I knew what a computer was. I still know now. I can actually swim too, but that's fine. If I couldn't do either, I'd rather learn what a computer is than learn how to swim. I'll figure that one out. But that's literally what she's thinking about. That is her priority. And she can do that because of her constant division. That's why she prioritizes calling people names. That's why she prioritizes attacking the other. If people stop thinking and only start feeling, nothing changes. I want you to feel. I also want you to think. Am I wrong? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. By the way, I'm not wrong. But you can call and tell me I'm right. Also works. Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Radio. WYSL Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and the chat. I do see the chat. I do. I'll see you after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
To live the quality of life we deserve in truth and freedom, informed by our Constitution, our laws, and traditions, we need to pick the best leaders possible. Recent experience certainly illustrates that. Free and accurate elections are essential if we're going to restore our society and safeguard our rights. New York Citizens Audit is a volunteer, nonpartisan group which has been lobbying for open source audits of the State Board of Elections and reform of the electoral process statewide. Did you know Citizens Audit has uncovered over 1 million felony violations of election law? That in 2020, there were 625,000 more voter registrations than existing voting age citizens in just 6 New York counties, that there were 338,000 more votes cast than voters who voted. These are just a few shocking examples of the urgent need for reform. You can help. Visit auditny.com and learn the facts, how to volunteer, and make a difference in your community. Again, volunteer, donate, or spread the word. Start at auditny.com. That's auditny.com.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
It is Larry Sharpe here on WYSL, Rochester, New York. Sharpe Way Radio, 585-346-3000. So glad that you give me a chunk of your afternoon. Yes, indeed. Been talking about priorities in New York State, and also us not thinking, just feeling and being angry. And I get it. It's just not helpful. Let me grab a call if I could. I have Keith. Keith, how are you, sir?
Having to do with priorities and not thinking. If libertarians are not exactly wrong, are you in fact right? Trump, the Donald, spoke before your delegation, your convention on the weekend, and he was booed, and then you put up your own candidate. As I listened to his speech, I didn't hear all of it. He was talking pretty well and upright, realistically, to your fellow libertarians. Why was he not well received and even booed? The point I'm trying to make is if you got together with Trump because he thought he could make inroads with libertarians, who, to me anyway, libertarians at times are no better than conservative Democrats, to have to say it that way. Well, what was it in your estimation that Trump did so wrong, and why do the libertarians feel the need to be that rude to him? They only make themselves look bad and just reconfirm the stereotype that I gave of libertarians, to put it in words, no better than conservative Democrats. So what's with Trump being rejected by your fellow party members? What I want to bring in, closing the circle here, you come on every week with your little soliloquies, even the guy being set on fire. Hopefully you, Mr. Sharpe, know that it's going to take
another call on hold.
Set on fire for Americans to be really moved. Half of America is doing very well, thank you, and the other half not so good, living week to week. Until America really starts to have a meltdown, we're not going to get rid of the deep swamp state. I never hear libertarians really talking about that, but that's my question that got me burned here. Why was Trump so poorly received? And why don't
let me answer it. Let me answer it. So I'll cover a couple things. Piece number one, Trump did not give a libertarian speech. He didn't do that. What he gave was a normal Republican pitch and then threw a little bit of what he thought was libertarian red meat. And we heard it. He didn't say, hey, I was wrong about these things. I'd made errors. I want to fix things. He didn't do any of that. He said, I'm going to save you from Joe Biden. Libertarians think Joe Biden's as bad as him. We don't see any difference in that. We don't like the two-party system. That's why we are libertarians. If we cared about either of those two, we'd be Republicans or Democrats. What he did was he came and he said, I'm going to save you from Biden and blah, 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 which he says every Republican won. That wasn't for us. That was for his people who were in the audience. He did get some applause lines. He did. When he said things like freeing Ross, he did get some applause lines. He did. But most of his stuff was just, I'm going to save you. And when he said he would do things, he didn't take any responsibility. He didn't say, when I was here for 4 years, I made a mistake. I didn't do this. I should have done that. He didn't. He said, let me tell you all the libertarian things that I did. And then he insulted us. What he said was, he said that he was libertarian. This is the thing that Bobby Kennedy Jr., when he spoke, did not say. It's what Vivek did not say. Vivek said he used to be a libertarian. We could accept that as true. That's what he said. Bobby Kennedy never said he was libertarian. He just said, here's what I think, and here's where I agree. Trump did not do that. This is why he was not received well at all. He came in thinking, you guys need me more than I need you.
D from Florida.
He said, literally, if you don't have me, you still get 3%. We always get 3%. It's not like that's an insult for us, right? That's not an insult for us. Vivek was seen better because he said, I used to be a libertarian, not anymore. And he said where he agreed, where he didn't. We were okay with that. Bobby Kennedy Jr. came in, didn't say he was libertarian, said, here's where we agree, and let's talk about that. Beautiful. We're clapping hands. Awesome. Neither of them asked for us to nominate. They just said, this is what we want. That was it. Trump said he wanted us to nominate him. He said he was libertarian, and he was not apologetic at all. I hope you understand that dynamic. That was the difference. It's why those first two were received much better, and Trump was not. Trump came in thinking, I'm the guy, you need me, I'm going to save you, blah, blah, blah. We were like, we don't need saving, brother. We don't need saving. We know we're drowning, and we keep drowning. It's fine. I hope that at least answer your question, Keith, if that makes any sense.
D, Florida.
Let me grab another call if I could. This is D. How are you?
Larry, I'm good. And I woke up Sunday morning to get Twitter messages just like Keith asking me to go ahead and bend my knee to vote for Trump. I'm feeling very discouraged with all the hate coming because of Chase Oliver being the LP candidate for POTUS. As you know, Mike Tremont is his VP, and Lars Mapstead will be working close with the campaign. Those three were my top three anyway, so I'm glad they're all working together. I have two questions. Will you commit to helping Chase's campaign in your typical Larry Sharpe fashion, being a good communicator? And second, what's your thoughts on the 300 delegates that voted nada, or none of the above, on the last round of voting, risking ballot access?
Wow. This tends to be a New York-centered show, so I apologize for those of you who are listening in
I know this is
Rochester.
definitely off topic. Sorry.
I do apologize for that. I try to stay New York-based. The reality of it is, for those of you who that we may not have ballot access in New York State, there may be no libertarian to vote for in New York State, to be forward with you, D. So for most people on this who are listening to this radio show, they're not going to have an option. I will be suing the state again, 2 separate lawsuits, to try to get us ballot access. But I've also sued 8 times and lost 8 times. But it's not going to stop me again. So I will be suing again, trying to get us ballot access. But the odds are not in our favor. I'm 0-8. I hope I will not go 0-2 more. As far as helping out the candidates, I always do. If they need help, I of course. To be very full with you, the delegates made a horrible decision not picking Lars. I'm blatantly biased, and I don't care. I was right in 2016. They ignored me. I was right in 2020. They ignored me. I was right this weekend, and they ignored me again. They keep ignoring me. I'm right. That's why I'm still here. That's why they always ask me for help. That's why they always want me, because I'm right. And the delegates refuse to listen to me. We would have done better if they had picked Lars and me. That was the right choice. They did not choose that choice. It doesn't mean I leave the party. I never do. It doesn't mean I'm not going to help. If they need help, I will. In fact, there's issues with Maine I'm going to be working on this week. So, D, of course, I'm going to keep helping. I'm never going to walk away. But they screwed up. Does that part make sense at least?
LP is damaging.
Say it again.
Would you agree that having all these different caucuses in the Libertarian Party is damaging to our party as a whole?
No, nobody even knows. Nobody outside of our party even understands. They have no idea. They're not paying attention.
Yes, sir.
They only, outside of that, they don't get, it's just internal stuff. It's why I don't talk about it. Because here's what I can tell you. Of the thousands of people who are listening to this, maybe 1% even understood what you just said. Maybe. And I'm exaggerating with that. Most don't care. That's internal stuff. They don't care about that. The internal stuff that goes in the Democratic Party, they don't care about. Republican Party, they don't care about. They don't care about Libertarian. I'm not even bringing that stuff up because nobody cares. I don't mean to be mean, I'm just being forward.
The hate messages?
They'll go away in about a month.
Okay.
Same thing happened after Bill Weld in 2016. Went away after about a month.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So we keep moving, D. That's the answer. We keep moving forward. I ignore the hate. Keep moving forward. Does that make sense?
She's gone.
All right. So yes, I know D feels upset. If you happen to be a libertarian listening, you're probably upset about what happened. Just keep moving, right? Keep moving. We have stuff to do. We have a country to save. We have your state, your town, your city, your county to save. Let's go save, right? If you're a libertarian and you want to support your libertarian candidate, please do so to the best of your ability. But either way, let's keep moving. I have been through this too many times. I have been going to these conventions since 2016. I've been watching people fight since 2016. I have been to literally dozens of state Libertarian Party conventions. I've watched the infighting. Let's move on. And if people don't like that, they want me to pick a side. I will not. If that'll make you angry, you're going to be angry then. So I'm not changing. Guys, we have to move forward. I talked about priorities with Kathy Hochul, how dumb they were. I talked about factioning New York State, how bad it is. The same thing works within your parties. Democrat, Republican, Green, or Libertarian. None of these work well. None of this helps. Let's get together, move forward on a stuff that matters. And by the way, that's not swimming. It's not that. It's not calling people names. It's not that. Larry Sharpe here, Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
WYSL now conducts a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. You won't hear anything during the test.
Welcome, Olean. WYSL. Proud to be your local talk station for great conservative, all-American programming.
Here's the news NBC forecast on WYSL. For tonight, a few showers possible early. Otherwise, we're dry late with partly cloudy skies and a low temperature comfortable of 50 degrees. Heading into Wednesday, a high of only 65 degrees is expected. Generally partly cloudy, but an isolated shower will be possible for folks into the Finger Lakes. And then as we head into Wednesday night, we'll see skies clear with a low temperature of 48 degrees. First Alert meteorologist Alex Bielfeld on your WYSL stations.
Spring savings and selection are popping up everywhere at Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6484 Route 96 in Victor. Try these deals. A 24 Ram 2500 Tradesman Crew Cab 4x4 pickup is 10% off. A 24 Jeep Compass in bright white.
Okay, we have another call. Mike from Rochester.
27 months with $46.97.
You're welcome.
Please loyalty. A 24 Dodge Hornet SUV in gray cray is $229 a month for 24 months. $59.44 down. Must be competitive brand owner or lessee. The 24 Jeep Wrangler 4xe convertible is just $369 a month for 36 months with $69.66 down. All these deals require first payment. DMV taxes and fees due at signing. Other conditions may apply. See dealer for details. We welcome Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and Finger Lakes. The selection's great, and they're ready with your deal at the most beautiful new vehicle sales and service dealership in the area. Victor Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, 6484 Route 96, just east of Victor.
Bratwurst, Bauernwurst, Kartoffelsalat, Sauerkraut, Leberkäse, Kirsche Torte. Hallo Leute und Veteranen. When I was stationed in Germany, time off was spent at the local festivals. The people were friendly, the food was great, and the Hefeweizen waged a continuous battle against my waistline. Lima's annual German festival is Sunday, June 9th. This is as authentic as you can get. The food, the desserts, and the beer. A German festival run by real Germans. The festival opens at 11 a.m. and runs until 7 p.m. All veterans and active duty personnel get in for free. Arrive before 1 p.m. in time to see the American Legion carry in the colors. Take routes 5 and 20 between Lima and West Bloomfield and follow the signs. Tell them Captain Falk sent you. Prost, Prost, Bundespost. Bratwurst, Bauernwurst, Kartoffelsalat, Sauerkraut, Leberkäse, Kirsche Torte. Bratwurst, Bauernwurst, Kartoffelsalat, Sauerkraut, Leberkäse, Kirsche Torte.
Und Bier.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
Hi, my name is Evan Spindleman, founder and owner of Flood Broker. Flood insurance premiums are skyrocketing, and if you have to have flood insurance coverage to secure your mortgage, you owe it to yourself to call me to see how I can save you money on your flood insurance premium. The insurance programs I use are bank accepted and will satisfy your loan requirement. Please give me a call at 585-736-4366 today to get a free no obligation quote. That's 585-736-4366. Call today.
Just like a winning team, UR Medicine Golisano Children's Hospital medical staff combine skills to save lives and create a healthier community. Their dedication gives children in the region access to advanced care, supports groundbreaking research, and provides top-notch training for the next generation of pediatricians. Help us make even more remarkable advances happen at Golisano Children's Hospital. Join us and be part of the journey towards a brighter future for children in our region.
It's the 6th annual Batavia Downs Bourbon and Whiskey Fest, presented by Jack Daniels and Old Forester on Saturday, June 8th from 4:30 till 7. Sample great bourbons and whiskeys and check out the Belmont Steaks. Tickets are available now on BataviaConcerts.com. This is a 21-plus event, and limited tickets are available, so don't delay. Be sure to get yours today.
Batavia Downs with more. Great gaming. Batavia Downs with more. Lots more.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop here for your hunting needs. With changes in New York State laws, they'll work with you to fulfill your needs. Open from 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday, Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Sharpe Radio on the WYSL stations. On the WYSL stations.
Yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. So happy that you give me a chunk of your afternoon. We are talking about factions in New York State and, surprisingly, in the Libertarian Party. All types of stuff. See how cool this show is? You didn't think that was going to happen, did you? See, Keith, you didn't think that was going to happen, but it did. Look at that. We have interesting show all the time here. Let me grab another call if I could. This is Mike. Mike, how are you, sir?
Larry, pretty good. Hey, speaking of the Libertarian Party, you guys don't have a chance, unfortunately. That's because you guys don't have the backing of the tiny hat, APAC. Okay, Apex has been throwing money to both parties, Democrats and Republicans. You guys aren't on the cash
tiny
train.
hat. Got it.
Those
Okay,
guys.
I didn't get that reference. Okay.
Excuse me?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't. You said tiny hat. I didn't understand. And I had to think for a second. You went APAC. Oh, you meant yarmulke.
Yarmulkes. Yes. Well, tiny hats.
Oh.
I was trying to be. Yes.
I didn't understand. Okay, now I get it. Sorry. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
ignorant. I didn't get it. So I had to think about it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. You guys will never. I mean, I did follow the Libertarian. I did follow Trump's speech only because I watch more politics than football or baseball. I have sports ball.
I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry.
That has nothing to do with my life. Politics does, because I like to know who's spending my money and where things are going. Trump going there, yeah, that speech could have been a hell of a lot better, but it was a waste of time on his part. But as far as the financing goes, you guys, the Libertarian Party's got good points, but you'll never get the money. Okay.
No, I'm gonna look. I have been very forward about this, Mike. I agree with you. I'm not sure we have to get APAC. I'm not sure that's required, but I know money's required for sure. I think we do. I've been saying it forever. And look, you've given me a chance, and I'll just bring it up, and hopefully people will hear it. Why in the world did I bother trying to get behind Lars Mapstead? Because of the money, like you just said. The Libertarian Party is going to struggle this year. That's true. I wish it weren't true. I love my party. I wish we had a chance of winning and crushing the world and doing all the great things. That'd be amazing. But you're right. We're going to struggle because of money and because Bobby Kennedy Jr. is running. Yes, it's a tough one. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't think we have to have APAC, though. Look, if we could have APAC money, that'd be amazing. But to your point, then I have to bend to the will of one pack. I don't think I want to do that. I feel like Lars was someone who could raise money from other friends of his who loved him, so all his ideas, so he wouldn't have to bend the knee to a pack. So I'd rather not. But I think your point's a valid one, Mike. I think you're right.
And Bobby Kennedy is not a liberal.
Another call
That
coming
guy
in.
is a straight up communist. If you go back and you read his platform, okay, he makes Biden look like a moderate if you read his platform. So that's what I have to say about Bobby.
The reality of it is, I think you have to think to yourself, do you want the same old thing or not? If you do, keep voting the same old way. If you don't, you got to vote different. That's it. You got to change the system. We have to break the system, change the system. And I was on a show months ago, and some guy said, "Hey, Larry, if you were in New York State and the only other guy besides Trump, and
Big
Biden
John from New York City.
on your ballot was Cornel West, would you vote for Cornel West? Even though he's has almost no policies you agree with." I mean, yes. They said, why? I want to break the system. If that's the only guy I got in New York State, look, for those of you in New York State, Biden is going to win New York State. If you don't think so, you are fooling yourself. It's nice that Trump came to the Bronx. I'm not mad at it. I'm happy he came. He's not going to win the Bronx. He's not going to win New York State. Not going to happen. Biden is going to win New York State. You should vote third party. And if the only guy there was Cornel West, I would. Otherwise, find the guy that's closest to you, whoever that is. Pick that person. That's my view. I hope that helps, Mike. So let me grab another call if I could.
Big John.
I'm not sure who this is. Big John, how are you?
Hey, Larry, it's Big John. Got a question for you. I saw where Michael Malice thought that a brilliant political move would be for Joe Biden to pardon Ross Ulbricht before the elections. What do you think of that? And do you think that that would be enough to get the Mises Caucus to support Biden?
Two things. I don't think, but for those who don't know what that is, the Mises Caucus is one wing of the Libertarian Party. By the way, for those of you in New York who are listening, there was a Libertarian Party convention last weekend, in case you hadn't figured that one out. So that's why I have so many questions about that this week. The Mises Caucus part of the Libertarian Party would never support Joe Biden. However, would there be some libertarians who would jump on the Biden train because of that? Maybe. That's possible. If Joe Biden were to all of a sudden say, like, totally deschedule cannabis, end the drug war, and, you know, commute the sentences of Ross and pardon Assange. But these are things he would never do. He's Joe Biden. But yes, and what you're basically saying is, if Joe Biden wouldn't be Joe Biden, would some libertarians support him? Yes. But he's Joe Biden, man. So, but if he were to not be Joe Biden, a lot of libertarians would probably support him. Am I making sense?
Oh, absolutely, Larry. I just wanted to see if you thought there was any play there for, quote, and I'm using air quotes right now, pure libertarians to say, hey, if this guy were to pardon Ross or to pardon Assange and Snowden, et cetera, would that be enough to say, hey, we'll hold our noses because he came through?
To be forward, there are some libertarians now who are going to vote for Trump. No doubt. If Trump did that, some libertarians would probably vote for him, but no huge amount. No, some would. Some would go, oh my God, that was great. Let's do it. I'm sure some are going to vote Biden now. Some will. But as a whole, Biden would have to not be Biden. That's the issue. He'd have to do so many things to get libertarians to vote for him who aren't naturally going to anyway. Right? There are some Libertarian Party is very, for those who don't know, it's very diverse. There are some libertarians who hate Trump.
He's
hate
gone
him so much that they would vote for Biden if he did one or two things. There are some. They're a small percentage. There are some libertarians who are going to vote Trump because they think he came to us and it's going to be libertarian and going to free Ross. Some will, but I think most libertarians are still going to vote libertarian. Our biggest issue is those getting up and voting, believing they can have change. This is why, again, I'll pump it one last time. It's why I backed Lars Mapstead. The idea of stopping 270, the idea of getting electoral votes was something that we could raise money on. Back to the earlier piece that Mike talked about, we could raise money on that. It's an idea that people give money to. And it's a goal for us to achieve, that we can get a win out of this, that we can actually have a victory of some sort. It was the best idea, hands down. Not even close. The best idea. Instead, we're going to fight each other, come in fifth behind Jill Stein, because Jill Stein is now funded by the anti-war left. Again, to your point, John, because Biden is so Biden, he's such a warmonger that the anti-war left is now funding the Green Party. I know, sounds crazy, but that's actually happening now. And they might actually get in the ballot in New York State. The Green Party might get in the ballot in New York State, and RFK Jr. may get in the ballot in New York State. And people are asking me in the chat, Larry, what should we do in New York State if there is no libertarian? Here is my opinion. Do as you see fit. If you want to break the system, try your best to look at whoever's running third party, get the closest person you can, and vote for that person. If that's Bobby Kennedy, if that's Jill Stein, whoever it is, whoever's closest to you, vote for that person. Joe Biden is going to win New York State. I hate to tell you this. I'm going to be very clear. A Republican has not won a statewide election in this state in 22 years. And the state's getting bluer. Locally, Republicans win all the time. And if you have local Republicans you like, please vote for them. They can win. They have a shot at making impact. They can do stuff. They can make impact. Statewide, impossible. Impossible. You are throwing your vote in the garbage in a statewide election voting for Republican in New York State. In New York State, vote third party or just vote Democrat because you're a Democrat. I get it. If you're a Democrat, vote for the Democrats. They win anyway. Who cares? But if you're not, vote. In fact, I would say if you're a Democrat, still vote third party because you're still going to win. But at least now you can show what you care about. I would still vote third party. Either way, I don't think it matters at all. That's just my opinion. I hope that answered all of your questions. Let me grab some of your comments. A lot of comments here. Joe is teasing. He says, but we disagree with Chase, who is libertarian, on 2 issues. So I'm voting for the candidate I disagree with on 10. When you deal with your feelings and not your logic, Joe, things like that often happens. That's all I will say. Often that happens. Yes. We'll hope that maybe this time it won't happen that much. That would be my hope. Well, a lively conversation so far. We're not even done. I love it. Good calls, good back and forth. Maybe we should have a Libertarian convention every weekend. Maybe we should. I'll be crazy, but it'll be good shows. Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. Back with your chat. I didn't get too much of it, but I will get to more of it now, I promise, right after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
While many local collision and repair shops have been gobbled up by national chains with their impersonal touch, Flower City Collision remains locally owned and operated. The shop was started by a local veteran who taught his son Zach the basics in customer service and providing customers value. Flower City doesn't work with a specific insurance company. They want to be your advocate. If you need a repair, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta. He will work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure you get the repair you need done right.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop here for your hunting needs. With changes in New York State laws, they'll work with you to fulfill your needs. Open from 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday, Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery has a great deal on Tuesdays. A large 4-topping pizza for $18, regular or gluten-free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery in Avon.
Sharpe Radio on the WYSL stations.
It is Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So happy you've given me a chunk of your afternoon. I do appreciate it. I hope it's been a lively, fun conversation. We've been talking about New York State, Libertarian Party, combination, RFK Jr., Jill Stein, all the things. And on top of it, black kids swimming in computers. You did not see that coming. You so did not see that coming. And people setting people on fire in New York City subways. Crazy, I know. But that's what happens on this show. That's why you have to listen every Tuesday. That's the reason.
Roger.
Why. Absolutely. So let me grab a couple of comments if I could. David says, you can't be serious, Larry, twice. I was serious in everything I said. 100%. This was a problem. It has been a problem and will still be a problem for a while. Let me grab one quick call if I could. Roger, how are you, my friend?
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing, right? Where the governor is concerned, she's going, man, I can't go after poor black people for cannabis anymore since Cuomo made cannabis legal. So instead, I need to find another reason to use cannabis as a way to bust people. So you know what? I'll create this task force to go after small, medium-sized cannabis businesses.
Yep.
Who's behind big cannabis. You know,
Yep.
she's creating
100%.
an oligopoly in New York State by doing this.
100%. It's what I warned. As soon as they come to this plan, it's what I warned. Right as soon as it happened, I warned. I said this was going to happen. It's a disaster. This Office of Cannabis Management is just a mob bosses of New York City. That's all it is.
And I would say this: you should think about convincing libertarian candidates to run for office in Albany to serve in the state legislature in both chambers to push the amendment that would allow us to place our own amendments on the ballot for ratification.
You know I'm on board. And for those who don't know, if you haven't figured this out yet, I have spent literally years trying to do that. 2018, when I did it, I got ballot access. 2019, I covered this state again. My second time I covered the entire state, supporting local candidates. We got 107 local victories. Exactly what you were talking about. They were city council, water board, but all local. But that was the next step for 2018 and 2019 to do exactly what you just said, Roger. That was the entire plan. And Governor Cuomo and the Democrats and Republicans knew that. That's why they shut it all down. They lied and said it's to get rid of Working Families Party. That's not true. Working Families Party supported Cuomo, now supports Kathy Hochul. They're still around. Who's gone? We are. And when I went back in 2022 to do exactly that again, what happened? The Republicans sued me off the ballot. Democrats sued me the first time in 2020, Republicans in 2022. You are correct. I've been trying. I'll be suing again this year. I can't get them to run if I can't get ballot access. Not going to work. I agree with you, Roger. I'm working on it.
Run them as independent.
Just as hard. You need infrastructure.
It
doesn't work.
You
need infrastructure. It doesn't work. People always say that. You need infrastructure. You need money, as we talked about. Mike talked about it. Mike knows. You need money and infrastructure, or it doesn't work. I'm working on it to the best of my ability, my friend.
We'll figure something out.
I am.
Maybe you know, maybe you might want to think about getting together with the Greens. I'm talking to somebody from the Green Party.
I do all the time. Howie Hawkins is my friend. I know Gloria personally. 100%. We sue together. They're struggling too, man. They may be able to get in the ballot this year. They may not be able to. I'm all about all third parties.
Yeah, Howie's an infiltrator. You want Howie.
Whatever. I know them all. Doesn't matter. I know them all.
I hear you.
So, anyway, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the time, and I'm on board 100% what you're saying.
All right.
Thanks. Let me grab a couple more of these comments if I could. Fred says, I did 21 years in the New York Army National Guard. I was with the 105th MP Company. We did a year in Iraq. A lot of people don't know that. I spent a lot of time actually working with reservists. Fred, I'm glad you brought this up. Let me keep going, and then I'll cover it. He says, and we lost 2 of our brothers to combat operations. Keep up the good work, brother. What people don't realize is a lot of reservists and National Guard went overseas. We only think that, it's only just the regular Army. No, a lot of National Guard went. And what's the difference? If you're National Guard, you often have an actual aggressive forward life in the civilian world here. Most people who are not in that world, actually, if you're active duty, your life is military. If you're National Guard, it's a part of your life. So when you go away for a year, come back, very often, your job is gone or it's changed tremendously. Or worse, you've changed tremendously and the job's changed tremendously and you don't fit anymore. I remember, I'll tell you something, when they came back, one of the yellow ribbon groups was trying to help these guys out when they came back. One company had come back. And I said, I need these guys in my classes. And they didn't want to go. To your point, Fred, these guys who go, they're tough guys. When they come back, they don't want to ask for help. They don't come to my class. I got it. And the first sergeant was going nuts. He's like, half of these guys are going to be homeless in a year. They're all going to wind up getting divorced. I watch it happen. And he's pissed off and he's angry. So I go to the nonprofit person. I say, look, you have to make this mandatory. It's like, you can't make it mandatory. I said, you don't understand these guys. If you're not ordering them, even though you are, if you say it's mandatory, you actually have no power over them. Say it's mandatory. This gives them an excuse to show up and go, I wouldn't have been here, but I got ordered. And then they get help. And she wouldn't do it. I can't make it mandatory. So I went to the first one. He's like, you're right. He had their captain order them to show up to the class. They all showed up, acting like they didn't want to be here because they're all tough guys, taking notes and figuring out how to save their worlds. You have to understand vets to do this work. It's not easy, Fred. You're right. Particularly National Guard guys who think they're going to come back into the world and nothing's changed. When a year in Iraq and you come back, you've changed. And your job and life have changed. Your family's changed. It's hard. This is one of the reasons why we want to defend the Guard. Those, you know what I'm talking about when I say that. It's one of the reasons. You don't want to punish these guys and gals who want to support their country for nothing. And that's what wound up happening. Fred, thank you so much for what you just did and said. I appreciate it. I kept going. I'm glad you went. Let's see if we can make this work. So yes. All right. Grab a couple more of these if I can. All righty. Patty says, not homes for the homeless, swimming lessons for the poor. What are we expecting, a flood? No. Aren't we expecting to instead just give money to our people who gave us money? That's all. Yes. 100%. John says, Trump had 4 years to drain a swamp and failed to do so. Yes. And doesn't seem sorry. That was a big issue, right? He doesn't seem sorry. Yes. Morgan says, I'd say there are former libertarians that would vote for Trump instead of Biden. Too many turn to red/blue when they don't get their way. I'll give you a little insight into the Libertarian Party instead. Some of you may not know. It is easier for the Libertarian Party to get people from the right, but also easier for them to go back. It is harder for us to get people from the left, but when they come, they stay. And they are some of our best and hardest activists. So I focus on both. Both are valuable. I want them all. Yes. Joe agrees with me. He says, 100% he should have admitted he was wrong and not libertarian and have changed his mind on the issues. Yes. He would have had more people support him. John agrees, says I'm right. Yes. He should have done that. That would have been a better speech. When Vivek spoke, again, he said, I used to be. We said, okay, get it. When RFK spoke, he said, I'm not. But here is what I think. And Vivek said, here's what I think. And we weren't that mad. We got some boos, some yays. I'll be like, okay, you're not trying to blow smoke. You're not doing that. And that's what Trump did. The Trump speechwriter, when he first wrote that, he was like, nailed it. Then when he saw it, he was like, oh my God, I'm so fired. It was not a good speech. Mike said it. I know Mike likes Trump, and he didn't. He's like, no, that's a bad speech. 100%. Yes. John says, Larry, I also think if Trump was to debate RFK Jr., that it helps both candidates and only hurts Biden. I agree. I think for both of them, a debate would have been great. I think it would have worked. I agree with you. But who listens to me? Sadly, not enough people do. Guys, I tried to grab as many as I could of your comments. A lot of phone calls, a lot of comments. A great show. Thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.